Big Mama was supposed to be the strong and wise matriarch, the one who kept you in check until the streetlights came on. But for little Jazelle in Chicago, her grandmother turned out to be the one who would betray and ultimately end her young life. In 2013, at just 8 years old, Gizzell Ford met a tragic fate at the hands of those who were meant to protect her. Gazelle had been living with her mother, but when her father, a felon by the name of Helen Ford, made false claims that she was homeless, a court granted him temporary custody. And despite her mother's desperate attempts to get her back, Jazelle spent 8 long months under the care of Andre and his 55-year-old mother, Helen Ford. There were warning signs leading up to Gizelle's death that something was wrong within that household. A month prior, an investigator from the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services had visited their home. And although doctors became suspicious after treating Gizzell for unexplained injuries and sending her back to the Fords, they failed to report any suspicions. No one could have foreseen the horrors that this innocent child endured on a daily basis. That is, until prosecutors obtained Gizelle's diary. Inside its pages, she chronicled the agonizing torture inflicted upon her by her own grandmother, beatings, being shackled to a bed, and forced into painful positions for hours on end. As she scribbled in her diary, the young girl had high hopes for the day ahead. She dreamed of relaxing on the couch, watching TV, and playing with her loved ones. But as the day went on, defeat crept in, and she was forced to admit her shortcomings. With a final stroke of her pen, she lamented her current state and hated the life that had landed her in such trouble. The following day, Gizelle's emaciated body, weighing only 70 pounds, was found among piles of garbage in her family's apartment. She was covered in bruises, with maggots crawling out of a head wound, and evidence of strangulation. But the autopsy revealed that Jazelle was already dying from kidney failure, a direct result of the neglect and abuse she had endured. Andre and Helen were both arrested and charged with murder, but justice would ultimately only be served for one of them. Andre met his fate before he could even face trial: death by heart attack in jail. And if you believe in karma, well, let's just say he is now facing a different kind of justice. As for Helen, a judge watched disturbing cell phone videos showing the extent of Gizelle's abuse, including shoving a sock into her mouth to muffle her screams. And although she faced judgment in court, some argue it will never be enough for the unimaginable torture and pain she inflicted upon that innocent little girl. The grandma, she did some real messed up stuff to that little girl, Gazelle. And get this, her own dad was just standing there telling her what to do like it was some kind of twisted game. But the brother, he ain't gonna stay quiet about it. He stood tall in court, tears falling down his face as he told everyone about the hell they went through with their family. And you know what? That grandma had the nerve to hide behind her fancy lawyers, trying to make excuses for why Jazelle was all beat up and bruised. But the judge wasn't having none of that. She threw that evil lady away for good. But let me tell you something, baby girl. Just because you're no longer with us doesn't mean we'll forget about you. No, we'll continue to share your story, raise awareness, and fight for all the other young sisters out there who need our help. Because your life was important, Gizzell Ford. And we'll make sure everyone knows your name and what happened to you. Rest peacefully now, dear child. We've got your back.